You're watching Two Button Crew.
Your daily Nintendo Fandom.
I'm Scott.
And I'm Simeon.
You just injected us? All right.
You better believe it.
That's funny.
Inject the crew.
Well, we're here to
Be
do
the crew.
our first outlet spotlight.
Yes.
And what website better to shine the spotlight on than GoNintendo?
Go Nintendo, go Nintendo, go.
Yeah.
That doesn't flow as well as Turtles, so sorry.
It's how I get my Nintendo news. Simeon, how do you get your Nintendo news?
Mostly from you.
Yeah, which is from GoNintendo.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we have GoNintendo.com to thank. It actually launched as a Blogspot blog in October of 2005.
Holy cow.
And you and I know Blogspot
We know
well.
Blogspot.
That's how we got our start
Yes.
in the world of game journalism.
You did indeed. That was a long time ago.
Yes.
What year was that?
When we started?
Yeah, when we started.
Let's see. I was 14. I'm 22 now. So that was 8 years ago. So that was 2006. Right? 8.
2008.
8.
Holy cow.
So this guy started 3 years before we did, and when I say this guy, I mean it was largely helmed by one man, Kevin Castee. He goes by RMC, or Raw Meat Cowboy, and I love this guy. He's a big, jolly, happy, like, just joyful man. You know, he's
Cowboy.
great. And he has a lot of fun. He's not really a cowboy, no. He's more of a sailor. He has a sailor hat.
That's cool.
Yeah. He goes through different styles of covering up his baldness. It used to be a bandana. Now he has, like, a captain's cap for a sailboat.
That's awesome.
It's really awesome. But what I admire about him is he probably has the hardest work ethic of anyone in game journalism that I've seen. He loses a lot of sleep over doing his job faithfully for Nintendo fans. Not like because he's stressed out, but because he has long hours and he gets up early to cover things and he stays up late, keeping the blog as up to date as humanly possible. He's very dedicated to collecting all of the latest Nintendo news. It's just nonstop information from all around the internet. He has these rounds that he does, and I don't know exactly how it works. I imagine it's a lot of bookmarks, like just folders and folders of bookmarks.
Probably.
He just checks things nonstop and then collates it all into one spot, because there's so many aspects of Nintendo fandom that it's so awesome to have one place to come to see all of the newest stuff. He's
the anchor.
Yes. Let's continue with the sailing theme.
Yes.
He also gets some help from the community by taking news submissions and tips and stuff, which is great. So there's this category on the blog called Top Stories, and that's where the big news goes, and that looks kind of a lot like what you'd see on any Nintendo website. Like if you compare the top stories to IGN stories for the day or other outlets, those are my two main ones, but they look pretty identical because that's what Nintendo announced that day and stuff. But that's just such a small portion of what he posts. If you want everything, you just go to the main page.
Go.
It's
terrible.
Yeah, we always sneak crew into all of our names, but they do go. Like,
Go.
They write Go Original Content.
That's bad.
He doesn't like it either.
He doesn't like
No.
it either.
His webmaster guy made it up for him.
That's awesome.
I think. So they also do, and when I say they, again, it's mostly RMC, their own impressions and reviews and coverage and stuff. And I wanted to... Go ahead.
And by impressions, you mean like how the games are impressed upon them, not like, it's me, Mario, or for Link.
Yeah. Good impressions.
Yeah, hey, I got it down.
So I wanted to park on their reviews a little bit and talk about that, because a big change happened at GoNintendo and how they handle reviews, and that happened on the 17th of November 2011. That's kind of a familiar date frame, right? That's when Nintendo releases something big for the holidays every year.
Yeah.
I don't know about this year, but every year so far.
2011.
GameSpot posted a review of Skyward Sword and gave it a 7.5, and that was like the lowest score for that game that the internet had seen. And the readers responded with outrage, just flaming the author, lambasting the outlet,
Ooh, lambast.
Lambasting. So, RMC believes that, like that example showed, that sometimes review scores can outshine the review content themselves. Like everything that the writers take so much time to write, people are just scrolling down and seeing what the score was.
Yeah.
And then he said it also in some cases can outshine the game itself, which I think is kind of scary.
Yeah, I believe that's true.
So
I believe it.
RMC no longer wanted to partake in scores or being a part of Metacritic or anything like that. So he just wanted to get out of that whole scene, and he writes reviews with no scores, and he just encourages readers to read his reviews. And, you know, I'll admit I read more of his reviews these days because I know there's nothing to get to at the very bottom besides his closing thoughts, and I want all of his thoughts, you know?
I think that's fantastic. I think that you're right that scores definitely outshine the review, and oftentimes they do outshine the game where they well, like the one thing I remember when the Wii U had recently come out and Nights came out for the Wii, the commercials were talking about the magazine scores.
Yeah.
And then it's like, they're like, we got a 9.0 from such and such a place. Then you go and play Nice Journey of Dreams, and you're like, oh.
How much did you pay them to get this?
Yeah, seriously. So I admire that.
Yeah, it's good. Another big thing that I admire about Meat Cowboy and the GoNintendo crew is their podcast. They have a long-running tradition of doing podcasts. They have made over 500 episodes. These are weekly podcasts, and they've done it in a row. 500 without missing a week.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty certain that's a podcasting record. I don't know, maybe Leo Laporte has gone a little longer with like Twit or something, but that's amazing.
That's insane.
There's no gaming podcast that rivals that. It's a podcast that features some adult language and humor, so that's also something
to watch out for.
Something to watch out for, to be aware of, but, you know, something that if you're into that, you don't find many Nintendo things like that. That's
true.
So there's that for you. I say adult, but then sometimes it's also just childish. Like, you know, we have a lot of gas. Exactly.
Have we talked about farting on the show yet?
What is there to talk about?
Well, I mean, eventually we're going to have to talk about that one time. But
all right.
I guess there isn't much to talk about as far as farting goes.
So, to wrap up our thoughts on GoNintendo's podcast, I'm amazed that they are so faithful with it. And then my favorite feature that GoNintendo ever did was called GoNintendo Nightly. It was a brief stint, but it was he was getting into video, you know, starting up their YouTube channel. And Meat Cowboy would sit in front of the camera and talk about 3 stories from the day. The best story, the worst story, and the weirdest story. And that's great, because there's always a weird story. It was fun getting some additional thoughts from him on the best and worst stuff that happened. It was cool to have a nice recap. Like, I felt if I couldn't keep up with the whole blog, I could watch GoNintendo Nightly for just a few minutes, get some RMC personality in there. It was very good. So hopefully that'll be brought back someday. And I want to talk about one time where I actually met RMC at E3. So this was the year that the Wii U was announced and unveiled and playable for the first time. And I was in a very long line to play Wii U. I think I had already played it maybe the previous day or something like that. But I wanted to do it again. And I was really hoping I could see RMC because I knew he was there. And lo and behold, his big bald head was walking past me. And I was like, RMC! And I shake his hand and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, have you played the Wii U yet? And stuff. And we were talking about what we thought about it. And he's like, you've got a couple hours left to go in this line, don't you? And I was like, yep, it's going to be a long time. And he's like, sneak upstairs. Just look like you know what you're doing. Go upstairs to the private showings where the Nintendo staff personally shows you. And I was like, okay. So
did you get out of line for that?
I got out of line.
Oh my gosh.
And this is like the worst thing I've ever done in my life.
If you know Scott, then you know he is like one of the most innocent people ever.
Yeah. So my heart was pounding. I'm like, RMC told me to do it. RMC told me to do it. It's going to be a good story. And I see this group of people being led by someone with a Nintendo badge. They're going towards the stairs. I follow. I get in the back of the line. And then a crowd of people separate us. And that's where the story ends. I didn't get up there.
Dang it.
But that's where, like, Reggie was playing Project Robot and, like, acting out, fighting the robots and stuff. And Miyamoto was up there and everything. It's for the special press, but...
You gave it a shot.
I almost committed the largest sin of my life thanks to Meat Cowboy.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Way to go, RMC.
I'm just a big fan of him and of GoNintendo, and so appreciative of all the work he puts into making the most cohesive, most complete, most up-to-date Nintendo news website. And we'd love to work together. We'd love to hang out sometime. We live far away, but hopefully we can do some of that via the internet.
Yeah, internet hanging out. That's cool nowadays.
We'll do a TVC Direct sometime or something like that. But we wish GoNintendo the ongoing best.
Absolutely.
And hopefully this year of sparse Nintendo news won't be too rough on us guys.
Yes.
But we'll stick together as Nintendo fans.
Better believe it.
And keep on celebrating Nintendo. Thanks for listening to this Spotlight, and I think GoNintendo deserves it.
Absolutely.
As our first one.
Don't forget to give them and us a big old thumbs up. Right below the video. Just click on it. It's cool.
Thanks for being part of the crew, guys.
Signing out.